College football fans, black and gold fans, welcome back to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape. The channel that is for you, the college football fan, fanatic. If you've been looking for a channel that is a safe haven, a safe zone for gathering, for exchanging comments, ideas, for debate, welcome home. You have found it. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks. Holla at you, boy. And this is my Week 5 review and recap episode. I'll be reviewing and recapping everything that took place over the weekend that was Week 5. And I got a great show lined up for you today, guys. Before I say anything more, please, I need your help. The Touchdown Black and Gold vlog is trending in the right direction. We are on the up and up, but I need your help. Please subscribe. Click that subscribe button to get notifications. Like, rate, share. Please comment. As I said in the opening, if this is your first time with me here on the channel, I always ask for and welcome your participation via comments, thoughts, insights. If you want to debate, ask a question in general, just let your voice be heard. I want to hear from you, the college football fan. Everything is going well here for the channel thanks to your support. Thank you for all that you've done and everything you will continue to do. But let's try to find more college football fans just like you. All right, and what a great Week 5 it was. I mean, we're really starting to see a little bit of separation finally. I mean, I don't think this college football season, I don't want to say there's been a lot of parity. There's just really, we're asking ourselves the question still here near the halfway point of the season, which is depressing to say. It goes faster and faster every year. But who really are the superior elite teams? I'm a little still baffled myself. I think there's a good number of good teams, but I still don't really know who's the upper echelon quite yet. But I hope your weekend was excellent. I hope you got out there and enjoyed the weather. You had a great time with your friends, your family, and I hope your team of fandom won over the weekend. So the lineup for today, what's on tap, will be my usual review and recap episode. The segments will be, I'll be starting with my weekly buy or sell segment where I go ahead and play the college football stock market. I'll give you 6 hot takes, and then I'll tell you if I'm buying or selling that statement. After that, I will move into one of my favorite segments, what was the good, the bad, and the ugly from Week 5. I will follow that up with my weekly updated power rankings. I always give you my top 12 teams, not necessarily based on record, but this is simply based on the eye test. And I also take into account who have they played, who have they beaten, and how have they looked on the field. So I throw the AP rankings out the window, and I just give you my top 12 teams. And then after that, I'm going to go and give you my 3 cheers, my 3 hip hip hoorays from Week 5, because these are some great stories that maybe have fallen a little bit between the cracks and have got overlooked with everything that went down over the weekend. And it is my responsibility to keep you, the college football fan, in the know about these impressive and want-to-know stories. All right, so without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get it on. Woo! Ric Flair style. So please, like I said, comment, get involved, like, share, rate, subscribe. Let's get it done together. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready to do my first segment, buy or sell. It's almost about that time. I just need to hear that opening bell. Where is it? The stock market is now officially open. And let's see how I do, if you agree or disagree with some of these hot takes, in my opinion. So my first hot take out of the gate is, after what we saw happen over the weekend, especially within the SEC West Division, which is totally topsy-turvy, LSU lost at Ole Miss, a game I'll talk more about here a little bit later in the episode. Alabama did survive on the road and looked impressive doing it at Mississippi State. And Texas A&M beat Arkansas. So I still don't know who's going to win this division. It's so up in the air right now, like a juggling act. I just remember after week 2 how bad Alabama looked, and then how bad they looked in week 3 against back-to-back against Texas and South Florida with their quarterback issues. A lot of people just wrote them off and left them for dead. Or like Coach Nick Saban would say, the rat poison, right? So my first hot take is, Alabama will win the SEC West Division. And, like I said, I just don't know who's going to win. We have a big matchup coming up here week 6 where Alabama travels to College Station to take on Texas A&M. But I can't say that. I just don't know at this point. So I am selling that hot take that Alabama will win the SEC West. They could, but as of right now, I have no idea. I just don't. I just don't know who the best team in that division is. All right. My second hot take, a little close to home here, the Big Ten. The Big Ten East Division is the best division in college football. That is an absolute buy. All right. You look at those 3 teams, those superpowers, the 3-headed monster, King Ghidorah, right? For all of you Godzilla nerds out there like myself, you've got all 3 of those teams are undefeated. Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, all within the top 7, I believe. I think top 6. So hands down, it is the best division in college football. Those 3 teams are so much better than anybody else in the Big Ten. It's basically like to the old days of Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler, the Big 2 and Little 8 days of the old Big Ten Conference. Now, that does not mean I'm saying the Big Ten is the best conference. I don't want to be misquoted, right? I've said it several episodes ago. I'll say it again. Hands down, the Pac-12 is the best conference in the nation this year. So, yes, the Big Ten East is the best division in all of college football. That's a buy. My next hot take is, Georgia tight end Brock Bowers will be a Heisman Trophy finalist. Now, this is a tough one for me, but I'm going to... I'm thinking about this now. I'm going to buy this. I think he is going to be a Heisman Trophy finalist. I might be wrong about this. Actually, I'm changing right now. I did have sell, but I'm buying this, all right? If you did not watch Georgia's game over the weekend, they were able to come back from behind at one of the most hostile environments, not just in the SEC, but in the entire country. They came back and left the Plains. They defeated Auburn 27-20. Georgia got out really sluggish and slow out of the gate again, just like they did at home a couple weeks ago against South Carolina. Down, I believe, double digits at one point. And the saving grace is Brock Bowers could not be stopped or contained. This is a tight end in a wide receiver's body, basically, or vice versa. Sorry, I kind of messed that one up. But I think he will be a Heisman Trophy finalist. I do not think he will win. Even if Georgia ends up going 12-0 and then 13-0 winning the SEC title game, which I don't think they will. But normally when that happens, you do try to reward the best player on that team. And there is no doubt that Brock Bowers is the best player, the MVP of Georgia. The Georgia teams of the last 2 years who won national titles, they were all good. There wasn't really one player that was going to make or break those teams. You had some exceptional players, but hey, it wasn't simply without this one guy, we're not going to be there. That's Brock Bowers. All right. And teams have got to figure out how to slow him down or stop him. He's going to get his, but just keep him contained. And he is the MVP that Georgia wants and what they need. So I'm buying that hot take. Number 4, Coach Deion Primetime Sanders will be the next head football coach at Florida. I'm going to sell this one. I thought about this, and here's the thing, all right? If you didn't watch, USC got out to a huge lead in Colorado at Boulder. The Buffaloes came back, a very mighty comeback, fell a little bit short, while on the opposite end of the country, down in Lexington, Kentucky absolutely pummeled and rolled Florida to the score of 33-14. Coach Billy Napier, that seat is getting even warmer and hotter now. I mean, if he ends up having another 6-6 type season or a losing season per se, I think he's going to be given the axe and shown the door. Don't let it hit your ass on the way out. Now, Coach Prime, his dream job is Florida State. That's his alma mater. But I just don't see him going to Florida. That's why I am selling that, because he also has his 2 sons currently at Colorado with him. They've already used their transfer, their one-time transfer, so they would not be able to follow him down to Gainesville. I think he'll stay at least one more year to be with his sons. And then if an opening like this does come around, I think he will jet. So I am selling that Coach Prime will be the next head coach at Florida. Number 5, after its thrilling 21-14 victory over Duke, a very, very good, underrated Duke team, by the way. This team is legit. Notre Dame is a legitimate college football contender. Folks, that's an absolute buy. I know a lot of you don't want to hear that, but just hear me out a little bit, okay? Notre Dame lost last play of the game to Ohio State. They still have to play a very talented top 10 caliber USC team. I believe that game's in 2 weeks. And then later in the year, they play Clemson. And I know Clemson is 3-2, but their 2 losses, I mean, come on, legit, to Duke and Florida State. And the Florida State game could have gone either way. It came down to the wire. And so that's 2 very good teams they have left to play. Does Notre Dame and USC and Clemson. And if they run the table, guys, and they go 11-1, you bet your butt they're going to be in the college football playoff. They just are. So that win at Duke was huge for the Fighting Irish, especially to follow up what happened last week with that loss at home against Ohio State. So Notre Dame, absolutely buying that. They are a college football playoff contender, whether we want to accept it or not. Now, my 6th hot take, I always save one for my Hawkeyes, our Hawkeyes, if you're a fellow black and gold brother and sister, is after leading Iowa to a 26-16 victory over Michigan State, backup quarterback Deacon Hill, after replacing injured quarterback Cade McNamara, will have more success as the starting quarterback this season than Cade McNamara. Whew, this is a tough one, but I thought long and hard about this statement. I'm actually going to buy it. And here's why. If you want to know, first and foremost, know more or hear more about this game that happened at Kinnick Stadium Saturday night, please check out my instant reaction and recap episode. It's up for your listening and viewing pleasure. But Cade McNamara, unfortunately, never really got solid ground and footing with the Iowa offense. I think he was never fully healthy. He had the setback with his quad coming off of ACL injury and surgery mid-season last year. I just don't think he had enough time to really build a chemistry with the offense, the personnel around him. I think that he tried very valiantly to play through his injuries, and I hope he comes back. I know he will. We do have him in Iowa City for one more year, but right now, I haven't heard yet what the status of his injury is. He went down the second possession of the game, midway through the first quarter. It was 3-0 Iowa at that time. Game was still very much up in the air. I just hope he comes back. Take your time, fully recover. work on some rapport with the teammates, study the playbook more, and I do think we'll see a better version, the version of Cade McNamara next season in Iowa City. But Deacon Hill played all right as far as being thrust into the starting quarterback position, and it did bode well because being 3-0, as I stated, early in the game, it really was 0-0. It was like starting from scratch, and he was able to guide them to a victory. I mean, they did get behind 16-10 midway through the third quarter, and he made some mistakes, but ultimately Iowa did get the victory, and they looked decent, looked solid doing it. So, and I might be wrong about this, but I think Deacon Hill will be a better option than Cade McNamara. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think it is going to end up being for Iowa's benefit. But hey, time will tell. So that's buy or sell for this week. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, get involved. I want to hear from you. So let's move on to my next segment of the day, and that's going to be what? That sound can only mean one thing. It's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly for week 5. I love this segment, and what a great classic movie, by the way, too. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you what I believed was the good, the bad, and the ugly from the weekend that was in college football. So let's start with the good. Notre Dame quarterback Sam Hartman. If you didn't see this play, YouTube it, find the replay, watch the game. I mean, going into the fourth quarter, Notre Dame looked pretty much in control. They were up 13-0 at Duke, a very game Duke team, a jazzed up crowd. Duke came back, 2 touchdowns, 14-13, and Sam Hartman, with under a minute left, scrambled on a 4th and 16, gained 17 yards, kept the drive alive, and then I believe the very next play, the Notre Dame running back took it to the house. Then they converted the 2-point conversion and left Durham with a 21-14 victory. So Sam Hartman, I mean, putting that team on his back, he might be maybe the next level of Heisman Trophy contender just on the outside looking in. Because if they make the college football playoff, as I stated, I think they absolutely can. They are a contender for it. If he gets them to the 14 playoff, that right there is a Heisman Trophy moment that we saw happen Saturday night between Notre Dame and Duke. So that was the good from week 5. An excellent play. I mean, next level. Now, the bad. And I'm looking at the SEC, and wow, one of my 4 playoff participants now has their second loss of the season. I'm talking about LSU. The bad, more specifically, is LSU's defense. I mean, whoa, I think Ole Miss just scored again on this defense. I mean, just got really embarrassed by Ole Miss, an Ole Miss team that the previous week lost, only scored 10 points in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. All right? So the total stats that the LSU defense surrendered, I mean, stomach these if you're an LSU fan. These are tough. They surrendered 706 total yards of offense to Ole Miss in their 55-49 loss. They gave up 6.5 yards per carry on the ground and 15 yards per reception per pass. Yikes. I mean, maybe defense has gotten to be optional down there in Baton Rouge. I sure hope not. I don't think so. And I don't know, my LSU pick, and I picked them to get to the national title game, as a matter of fact, they still can recover, but they can't take another loss. They have to win out now, even if they end up finding a way. Let's say they win out, get to the SEC title game, lose to whoever wins the East. Their third loss, they're not getting in. They're just not. Ain't going to happen. So that's the bad from week 5, that LSU defense. I mean, just awful. Couldn't believe it. It was rough to watch. Now the ugly which was even worse. And I have to put this coach on notice. I'm putting out an APB on him. Getting back to the game that I watched primarily, Iowa versus Michigan State, the ugly were the coaching decisions via what the analytics say anymore. And this isn't just about the Iowa-Michigan State game, guys. I'm seeing this happen way too much. And these coaches are trying to reinvent the wheel. They want to be the next up-and-comer, going for it on 4th and 3 in their own, their own side of the field. Oh, let's go for 2 after our first score of the game. It's happening at all levels of football. It has to stop, because a coach's job is to educate and put your players in the best position for success. And when this happens and it doesn't work out, you're doing the exact opposite to your players. Now, this is what we saw take place in Kinnick Stadium Saturday night for the ugly. Michigan State up 16-10, had all the momentum, all right, on the road in Kinnick. Iowa having Deacon Hill, the backup quarterback, in there. Momentum was completely on their side. The previous Iowa possession, it would be 2. There was a scoop in 6. So that's what gave them that 6-point lead. On a 4th and 1, guys, okay, at their own 30-yard line, interim coach Harlan Barnett decides to go for it. Iowa stops them. It only resulted in a field goal, so now it's 16-13, but still, you cannot do that. I asked during my instant recap and reaction episode yesterday, I need a Michigan State fan to please try to justify why you would do that there when everything is on your side. You don't go for it on 4th and 1 at your own 30. I don't care. You just don't. Interim coach Harlan Barnett at that point should have been absolutely canned. If you're the AD, you call down to the sidelines and say, hey, Coach Barnett, don't even worry about getting on the team bus. You're done, okay? Oh, and did I not mention too? Wasn't like this happened in the 4th quarter. This happened with 9 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. You had a full half. All right? I don't understand why this is happening. Please, you guys need to help me with this. So that is the absolute ugly from week 5. Potentially cost Michigan State the victory on the road against Iowa. It could have. That was the biggest play. I know Cooper DeJean's touchdown, punt return touchdown, put Iowa out front. So a lot of people would say that was the play of the game. No, that decision and them being stuffed, to me, that was the play of the game. So, guys, that's the good and the bad and the ugly from week 5. Please, once again, comment, like, share, rate, subscribe. I want to hear from you. Let's keep this going. Now let's move into, based on what I saw, here is my post-week 5 power rankings. Every week I give you my top 12 teams. And if there is some movement up or down, I will let you know if I move that team up or down, or if a team is making their initial debut on my power rankings. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm going to start off by saying this, okay? I'm tired of looking at AP rankings, numbers in front of teams, because quite frankly, those don't matter. They don't matter at all. I mean, I don't give a squat about them. All that matters really is the college football playoff rankings, which will be coming out soon. And you're going to see exactly where I'm coming from, because I'm tired of seeing this. Just because you might have a big number in front of your name, that doesn't mean you're really that good of a football team. Because we all know that the rankings primarily, they reflect what you did the previous season, not really necessarily what's going on right here and now in something we call reality, all right? So there is some movement. Number 1, moving up 1 spot from last week, I've got the Michigan Wolverines, guys. I mean, what a big-time victory. They looked everything like the best team in the nation over the weekend. I believe 45-7 win at Nebraska. I know Nebraska's not good, but still, Michigan has held all 5 of their opponents to 7 points or less. I know they really haven't been tested by a legit opponent yet, but still, those are 5 Division I football teams, and they are just dominating, all right? I think Michigan, who was my national championship pick, by the way, I think they are the deepest team. That's why I like them. Deepest and most battle-tested team. A lot of those cats who were on the college, who made the playoff last year, are back on this squad. I mean, senior laden and just depth everywhere. Okay? Number 2, up 2 spots. I've got the Texas Longhorns, guys. I mean, they continue just to look good. They dispatched of Kansas, who unfortunately pregame stud quarterback for the Jayhawks, Jalen Daniels, re-aggravated his back. He did not play. Kansas hung with Texas for the better part of 2.5, 3 quarters, but Texas just flexed late, pulled away. And I think Texas, to me, is the best team. I think they are the best team overall, the most complete team. They have perimeter players that Michigan doesn't have. That's why I think right now Texas is overall the best team in the nation. Number 3, staying where they were, I've got Florida State, still a very good team, a team that has a lot of experience back, but they're very thin as far as depth. That's why that's the little thing that separates Florida State from Michigan to me, but staying there, I've got the Seminoles, not moving anywhere. Number 4, down 3 spots, I've got Georgia. I mean, Georgia fans, let's not sugarcoat this. You're not the best team in the country. You're not. You're the defending 2-time champions. That's a great accomplishment, a tip of the hat for that. You and your program deserve it, but you're not the number 1 team in the nation. I mean, right now, if I was to be doing the AP rankings, they would be probably between 7th and 9th. That's where I think Georgia should be, but I'm still going to keep them in my top 4 now, but down 3 spots. Number 5, I've got Ohio State up 1 spot because Ohio State is now looking to come into form. And plus, last week, the previous week, the best win of the college football season, it wasn't Texas at Alabama. It wasn't Florida State over LSU. It was Ohio State on the road at Notre Dame, on the campus, not a neutral site, not playing in Orlando, a neutral site. So I got Ohio State number 5. They're looking much better in the best win of the season, up 1 spot. Number 6, up 1 spot from last week, I got the Washington Huskies of the Pac-12, one of my 4 college football playoff contenders that I predicted. And I think Washington, guys, is the most dangerous team in the nation, if that makes sense. I mean, offensively, this team can beat anybody. I can't wait till week 7. It's Oregon and Washington square off in Seattle. Can't wait for that game. So I got Washington 6. Number 7, down 2 spots. I've got Penn State. They didn't lose. They didn't play. But they have a very well-balanced, rounded-out team. But I still need to see just a little bit more from Penn State. I'm not throwing shade at them at all. But they're going to be a tough team to beat. There's no doubt. I just need to see them. And they play at Ohio State in 2 weeks. Can't wait to see that. Number 8, up 2 spots, I've got the Oregon Ducks. I think they're the second best team right now in the loaded Pac-12. Bo Nix looking to get into that Heisman conversation. Can't wait to see where the Ducks head from here. Number 9, up 3 spots from last week because of that huge win at Duke. I've got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish hanging around, just kind of slowly and quietly getting in position for that playoff run. Number 10, down 2 spots, I've got USC. The Trojans, good team. They're going to score points with anybody. I mean, you put them, they're going to be able to put up like Madden numbers, okay? They're going to put up those video game points and styles, but they still struggle defensively, stopping people, tackling. I mean, it's the same old USC, or really same old teams under head coach Lincoln Riley. Can they just play legit defense, and that's where they're really struggling. All right, but I do have them in my top 10, but down 2 spots because they almost blew that big lead against Colorado. Number 11, staying where they were last week, I've got Alabama still in the conversation, which they should be, but they've got a little work to do. And if they are able to go on the road at College Station and beat A&M this week coming up, definitely have a chance to move up my power rankings. And number 12, making their debut. Now, I get it. This is going to rub some people the wrong way. I believe they're ranked number 20 in the AP poll, but I've got making their debut the Kentucky Wildcats. I mean, this is a team, guys, that is legit. Physically, they are going to pummel you and body blow you to death along the lines of scrimmage, like Rocky just chopping down Ivan Drago with those body blows, bring him down. And they've got a veteran quarterback there, who the transfer from North Carolina State in the offseason, Devin Leary, got some speed on the perimeter, stud running back, the transfer from Vanderbilt. This team is the real deal. I mean, I think this is a team, and I can't wait to see the game coming up this weekend when Kentucky, hot off that big win against Florida, travels to Georgia to play the Bulldogs between the hedges. Can't wait for that game. So, guys, that's my power rankings post week 5. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for being here with me. It's an absolute pleasure for me to do this with you guys multiple times each and every week to share my love of college football, my love of everything college football with you, my fellow college football fans. All right, now my final segment for my week 5 review and recap episode is my 3 cheers from week 5 as far as these really, really good stories, victories, performances that go a little bit unnoticed. So these 3 people that I nominated will definitely take those in deservedly. So let's go ahead and get to my first 3 cheer from week 5. The aforementioned Kentucky Wildcats fall into this one. I got to give a shout out and much love, Sammy Sosa style, to the Bluegrass State. That's right, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. For the first time ever, both Louisville, ranked number 25 now, and Kentucky, ranked number 20, are both 5-0. It has never happened ever in the history in the state of Kentucky to have the Cardinals and the Wildcats 5-0, both ranked. So for you, the Bluegrass State, keep doing what you're doing. I say to your teams, hooray, take it all in. You deserve it. All right. Now my second cheer from week 3 is the Mountain West Conference. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, what a great conference we're seeing. I mean, I know it's a group of 5. I really hate saying that, by the way, because right now there are some legit teams who would give the majority of Power 5 teams a run for their money. Maybe not the upper echelon, but the lower half of the Power 5 conferences. There's especially 2 teams in there that could give them fits, give them everything they wanted. Right now, within the Mountain West Conference, both Fresno State, who's ranked number 24, and Air Force, that's right, the Falcons of Air Force, both of those teams are 5-0 and looking completely legitimate, strong, and ready to rumble. And when you look within and beyond that in the Mountain West, UNLV and Wyoming are right behind them, both 4-1. Now, when you look at those 4 teams between them, they've defeated 4 Power 5 conference teams. Fresno State has defeated 2 themselves. They took out Purdue and Arizona State, both on the road. UNLV took out Vanderbilt in Sin City, and Wyoming, one of the best games of the early college football season. Week 1 defeated Texas Tech up in Laramie. So the Mountain West keeps getting it done. And how great would it be to have the Air Force Falcons, an academy school, to get win the Mountain West, go undefeated, and get the New Year's 6 invite to represent the group of 5? That would be historic. No academy team has ever done that, especially for the sacrifice those young men and women will make for us in the future. So for the Mountain West, take a bow. You deserve it. Keep up your winning ways, Mountain West. Now, my final cheer for week 5 is BY who? BYU. That's right. The BYU Cougars on Friday night, I believe this game was. They defeated Cincinnati in Provo at home in the mountains. And in doing so, they recorded their first ever Big 12 victory as a Big 12 conference member. They're the first team of the 4 that were added in the offseason, which was BYU, UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston, if you recall. Those 4 teams were added to the Big 12. They're the first one to record a victory over a fellow Big 12 conference team. So it's history. It's written in the books. Congratulations, BYU, on that historic victory. Welcome to Power 5. And to you, I say 3 cheers. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up my Week 5 review and recap episode. Please, if you haven't had a chance, check out my instant reaction and recap. As I mentioned, of the Iowa-Michigan State game is up right now. Tune in later this week. I will have my Week 6 preview and picks episode that should be up late in the afternoon, early evening Thursday. So please click that subscribe button to get notifications when it's available. I really appreciate your time and attention, your ongoing support for the channel, because without you, none of this would be possible. So until Thursday, enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. Have a good time, and thanks for joining me on this episode of the Touchdown Black and Gold Vlog. See ya.